Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter, and welcome to the Daily Check-In for October 6th, 2020. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means? It's Terraform Tuesday, also Taco Tuesday, and I'm actually having beef tacos tonight, which is happening very shortly. So I'll make this kind of quick because I'm hungry. I spent all day in Tech Field Day Extras watching some excellent presentations from companies like Pensando and Pure Storage, and just learning more about what they're doing and how it relates to all the VMworld news that came out last week. So I'm going to do a video tomorrow on most of what I learned today. I need a little time to process it. In terms of housekeeping items, I just have two quick things. One, HashiConf Digital is coming next week. It's the 12th through the 15th, I believe. So if you go to hashiconf.com, you can register now. It's free, and you can learn all about the cool stuff. There are two big product announcements happening at HashiConf Digital. I don't know what they are, and neither do you, but we're going to find out together. So that's pretty exciting. The second thing is I've been getting a lot of good feedback from people on interesting things around Terraform, and I want to keep that ball rolling. So please leave comments, reach out to me on Twitter, and let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in the realm of Terraform, and I'll happily do that. I'm pretty excited to do that. Before we before we get into today's topic, I want to check in with you. How you doing? Are you having an all right Tuesday? It's kind of at the end of the day for me. Maybe it's the end of the day for you. I hope work wasn't too taxing, too stressful. Hey, maybe you're on vacation. That would be even cooler. Let me know how you're doing. Reach out. I like to hear from everybody and just kind of get a sense of how things are going out in the wide world out there that I'm not allowed to travel in anymore. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about a few things when it comes to Terraform. So, no demos today. This is just me talking about a few things that I've been kind of thinking about when it comes to Terraform, a few things I discovered, and some plans for the future for Terraform Tuesday. So, let's start with Terraform 0.14. It's not out yet. You didn't miss a major announcement or anything. It is the next iteration. So we're on 0.13.2 or something, or maybe up to 0.3 now. The next version that comes out is going to be 0.14. We're still not hitting that 1.0 mark. It's currently in alpha, and you can actually just go to the GitHub. I'll include a link down in the description. You can just go to GitHub and find the branch that's tagged version 0.14 alpha and see this for yourself. If you go into the changelog file, it tells you kind of some new things that they're working on. It's a nice thing about open source technology is you can see what's coming down the pike. There were a few things that caught my eye that I'm just kind of excited about. The first one is they are experimenting with a briefer output for the plan. So when you run a plan for Terraform, it shows you all of the resources and whether or not it's going to change something on those resources, and all the attributes in that resource and whether or not it's going to change something on those attributes. And that is a lot of output, and it's pretty unnecessary if nothing is changing about that resource or that attribute. So what they're trying to do is just a shorter version of that only shows you the things that are changing, and everything else is not included in the output. And then you can override that if you want the full output. That makes it easier to just glance and see, okay, what are the things that are actually changing? I know there's the summary at the end that says, going to add 3 things, change 2, and destroy 4 or something. But that's not always all that helpful. So sort of shrinking it down and making it more straightforward to read through, that's a huge improvement. So double thumbs up for that. Another thing that they're going to do, and this will probably improve things a little bit, is right now when you run a plan, it refreshes the environment and then it runs the plan. Now it's going to run the refresh as it does the plan. So your plans and your applies should go a little bit faster. So that's also exciting. And then the last thing, and this is just a usability thing, if you've ever used Terraform console, you know it's not the best at output. They're trying to improve the quality of the output that you get by properly formatting lists, maps, and strings. So that is all coming in the next version of Terraform. So that's pretty awesome. The other thing I want to talk about is I went down this rabbit hole of Terraform using CDK. Now, if you've never heard of CDK, it's the Cloud Development Kit. And it's something that AWS created specifically for creating CloudFormation templates using standard programming languages. So if you write in TypeScript, or if you're a Python programmer, or you write things in Java, you might think to yourself, hey, it would be really cool if I could write this in my language of choice and then just have it spit out a CloudFormation template at the end. And then I could deploy my infrastructure using that template rather than having to deal with all the YAML or JSON and just the vagaries and weirdness that is a CloudFormation template. Well, that's what CDK does. It's a library that you import to your programming language of choice. It helps you build a scaffold and import different resources. And then when you're done, you run a command and it outputs the actual CloudFormation template that you can then run. That's pretty useful. What if instead of outputting a CloudFormation template, it rendered Terraform configuration? That's kind of useful. That's kind of cool. And that's exactly what CDK for Terraform does. It allows you to import Terraform providers into your programming language of choice. And right now, the big ones that are supported are TypeScript, which is, as I understand, it's kind of like JavaScript. I haven't used it, so I don't know. Java, which I've used some Java in college, my goodness. And the third one is Python. So those are the three supported languages right now. They're obviously going to add more support for languages as this becomes more popular. And I think it's kind of in the alpha stage right now, but the idea is basically you create a configuration, a Terraform configuration using one of those programming languages, and you import the library. And then when you're ready, you run this sync command that basically generates the configuration, but it doesn't generate it in HashiCorp configuration language. It generates it in JSON, which if you have been following along, you might already know that HCL is actually like an abstraction of JSON to a certain degree. So it kind of makes sense, but basically it spits out JSON, which then you can import, or not import, but you can run Terraform directly against that JSON to provision the infrastructure. Or alternatively, there's a CLI tool that they've designed called CDK TF for Terraform that you can use to deploy the infrastructure based off the code that you've created. So those are your options. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'm thinking about doing a demo of one of those. The other thing that I discovered as I was reading that is that there's also a Terraform operator for Kubernetes. And so I was like, what is this thing? And it's kind of a similar idea. The idea here is instead of using a programming language, instead you'll use custom resources in Kubernetes to define a Terraform configuration and then use an operator in Kubernetes to actually create those resources. So that might sound a little confusing if you're not steeped in the Kubernetes world. I'll try to briefly explain. A custom resource definition is it's exactly what it says. Terraform is full of different types of resources, and you can create your own custom resources. And those custom resources have a YAML spec, basically, that you have to follow. Now, what if that spec was a Terraform configuration? Okay. And then when you added a new custom resource, under that custom resource definition, there was some process running in Kubernetes that picked up on this new custom resource or picked up on a change to that custom resource and then ran through a plan and possibly an apply of that. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Well, there is a thing that can do that, and those are called operators. Operators basically watch for changes to a custom resource using webhooks. I think that's how it works. And when they see a change, they take an action of some kind. Now, what that action is up to what's inside the operator. And you deploy an operator basically by spinning up a pod or more than one pod and creating that custom resource, a custom resource definition. And then once you have that, you can use that custom resource definition to create custom resources and have the operator take some action. So it's a fairly common pattern that's used in Kubernetes, and it's one that could be applied to Terraform. So these are two new and interesting ways to use Terraform to create infrastructure, but not doing it through HashiCorp configuration language in the Terraform CLI. So basically what my ask is of you, the audience out there, is I want to do a demo of one of these next week, but I don't know which one to do, what language to pick. So what I'd like you to do is let me know in the comments or hit me up on Twitter and say, hey, Ned, I think that you should do the Terraform on Kubernetes one, or I think you should do Java. please not Java, but maybe Python using CDK and show how that whole process works. And that will be the demo for next week. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, you'll get some tech analysis from the event I attended today. Until then, thank you again. Stay healthy, stay safe out there. Bye for now.